In comparison to our prelim task, the standard of work which I have gotten up to now is infinitely better. Back then, I had no concept of what codes and conventions were of a magazine and how they were mediated at all towards specific target audiences. Now, with the understanding of these kind of concepts, I think that I can create a decent standard of work. I think that one of the most important things when it came to the making of my magazine was the use of research and planning. Before I started making my magazine, I already had an idea on what genre I wanted to make my magazine. So with this in mind, I looked around the different rock magazines like Kerrang! This is why I chose Kerrang! As my main magazine to pastiche, because it had the best look to it in my opinion, and it's something that my magazine is closely related to in terms of genre. Looking at the kind of things that were in my prelim, there was no sign of any codes or conventions, and this meant that it didn't really have the look of a real magazine. So after I did the prelim, I knew all the codes and conventions. I knew what should be on a magazine to make it look real and professional. If I had to make a different magazine, I think that the main change I would make would be the genre of the magazine which I would do. I think that a better magazine to do would be a metal magazine, because it's a niche audience and it is something that I have a bit more knowledge on, and I would spend a lot more time on working on it and adding as many codes and conventions and making it look as good as possible, and making it link back to my target market more and make it so the magazine is more mediated towards the audience. Also, with something like metal, considering that the audience is niche, that means that there's a lot more room for adding specific codes and conventions which only they would like, and I think that this would be very beneficial compared to what I did in my current magazine. I think that overall, the magazine that I made wasn't really hard to make, however, it was hard to make it look good. For example, adding all the specific codes and conventions and adding them into the correct place to make it look professional was something that took a lot of time to perfect. For example, with my cover lines. These had to be in specific places and had a specific look to fit into the connotations and aim towards my target market. Well, this wasn't really hard to make. Perfecting them in this manner was the only real issue that I had in my opinion.